Hey everybody! So today is Good Friday. When I'm filming this, maybe not when you're watching it, but when I'm filming this, and that brings to mind a very famous game for Montreal fans, maybe for Quebec Nordiques fans too. I'm not sure, and that's the very famous Good Friday Massacre. It happened April 20th of 1984. It was round 2, game 6 in Montreal, Quebec against the Canadiens. And it was a game that, let's say, had a few fights. And I'm going to tell you all about it, and that's right here at Talking Habs, the home of Habs hockey, where everything's dedicated to the Habs and all things hockey. Okay, so very famous game, and it's funny because I had kind of forgotten about it, and I saw the talk on Twitter about it, and I said, oh, maybe go look it up. And I did. I looked it up, and I found a video. First, I found a video, just I think it was like 40 minutes. And when it came to those fights, it's funny, on the first watching, because it didn't happen in subsequent watchings, but on the first watching, I hadn't seen this since 1984. And oh my God, my heart was pounding. I had all those old feelings I had when we watched that game back in '84. I remembered how much I hate the Nordiques. Yeah, I love the rivalry and love to see them come back in the league, but man, did we hate the Nordiques. Dale Hunter, Peter Stastny you had to respect, but he was pretty tough. And it just brought all those feelings back. I was breathing heavy. My heart was pounding. I was angry. It was amazing. And that's what, not only got 16 years, that's like 36 years ago. 35, I think. So it's a long time, and to be brought right back to that moment is pretty amazing. So I thought I would do a video and go over the game, like a game review, like I do. And yeah, so let's get right to it. So yeah, this is a Friday Night Massacre, a very famous game. So for anybody who is old like me, will remember this game. For anybody younger, all the videos are out on YouTube if you want to watch it. And I'm going to tell you my thoughts on it right here. So now, this game started off with a bang in the first period. And you kind of would have thought, like, okay, let me say this. If you hadn't seen the game, or if you didn't remember it, kind of like me, didn't have a clear memory of it, excuse me, I'll try to edit that out. You're kind of going to think that this game was just fighting and all over the place, and it wasn't. Although it started off really quickly, and it looked like it. 23 seconds in, I wrote here, game starts with a bang. It was 23 seconds in, and Mike McPhee and Wilf Payma, they're behind the net, the Quebec net. And they start fighting. I don't remember why they triggered, but there was a scuffle there. And they start a fight. And not a huge fight or anything. So they both go off for fighting. And it settles down. The game settled down after that into a kind of exciting, at times, not furiously exciting, because it gets to that at a later point. But an exciting back and forth type of game. Ludwig goes off for tripping at 4:18. The Nords are on a 1 for 22 on the power play, I think, in this series. So their power play sucks. And I think it was, 43 seconds in, Jean Hamel takes an illegal stick call. The blade was too wide, so it wasn't the curve. It was the blade was too wide. And it goes to 5-on-3 for the Nords for 1 minute and 17 seconds. Now, Hamel had played for the Nordiques for, I think, 2 seasons before this, and Montreal had acquired him early into this season from the Nordiques. So, you got to think that Michel Bergeron wasn't taking a guess here about the thickness of his blade. They knew what they were doing, obviously. I mean, you can say what you want, but that's obviously what happened. And it pays off because they do get a penalty, Montreal. They get a power play goal out of it, the Nordiques. So it's the first goal of the game. I don't remember this, but apparently Montreal had been scoring first goal of the game up until this point in the series. So JF Sauvé, Jean-François Sauvé, feeds a nice pass to Peter Stastny at the side. Peter Stastny's right at the side of the net on Penny's left. And like a nice pass, threads it right through to him, and he scores. They're up by 1. And then Habs killed the Hamel penalty. So now, There's a charging penalty to Wally Weir. Nothing comes of it. Blake Wesley takes a holding penalty. And then Quebec's, all three are Quebec. Mario Marois, I think his first name is Mario, takes a slashing penalty right at the buzzer. So I only emphasize this because that's 3 in a row. So it seems like it's a calm before the storm kind of a period. It started out with a fight, and it kind of was hockey. It was good playoff hockey. But you can almost feel it. It's maybe, I don't remember on the night if we could feel that what was coming. But I mean, watching it again, you can see it's kind of like the calm before the storm. And almost all the rough stuff is in the second. Yeah, turn the page over. So, so there's the goal. 5-12, power play goal. Peter Stastny, his second goal of the playoffs from Sauvé and Anton Stastny. I should have said that. So it's 1-0 there. Now, there's no scoring in the second period. But the rough play would start in the second period. So no scoring, but some really good action mixed in with the penalties and the rough stuff. So the Nords were a bit undisciplined, I'd say. And they're starting to rack up the penalties in a row. And they ended up the game with 16 more penalty minutes than Montreal overall. At the 15-20 mark, Dale Hunter bumps Penny. He's going after the puck in the crease, and he bumps into him. And that sends, I wrote here, sends Chelios and Hunter. Chris Chelios jumps on him, and they go to the box. And the intensity of this game gets cranked up to number 10 right here. The action goes back and forth with a furious intensity. Like at this point now, after that happened, they're serious now. And they're literally chances back and forth. It's flying now. Actually, you could say that pace looks more like a regular season game today because they play so much faster today. But the words aren't coming. Hunter does it again, like 2 minutes later, something like that, and he gets another penalty. Like because he gets a penalty there, he just comes out of the box. He's not out for very long, and he does it again, basically going in there, bumping into Penny. Seconds later, Ludwig and Anton Stastny go at it behind Montreal's nets. And I wrote here, we're off to the races, because basically that's what ignited it right here. Because we're past, like 4 minutes left in the period. And I know what's coming, and you can see this is there's going to be a few more penalties, and you'll see. And it's odd to point out here, it's weird, it gets in a macabre way. But at this point, because there's 2 minutes left in the period, Jean Hamel has basically 2 minutes left in his career. His career be over in 2 minutes. So the penalties. Dore goes off for interference at 19:44, and that makes 5 penalties in a row for Quebec. And 4 seconds after that, Bobby Smith goes off for interference. So that sort of nullifies that. There's 12 seconds left to play. And right at the siren, there's a play. It's right at the Nordiques net. Carbonneau winds up at the side of the net. As the siren goes, Nordique player, for some reason, is on top of him. They fall down, and they start to fight. And this is it. This is what kicks it all off. And within seconds, the bench is clear. So the bench is clear. Everybody goes into that corner, basically. It kind of comes out towards the net a little bit more. And it takes a few seconds of everybody milling around there. And then who's the first to fight? Chris Nyland pulls somebody out at the back. He's against the back wall behind the net. And they start to go at it. And that's it. Everybody just pairs up. You can see they start to pair up, and it starts to open up space. And everyone's just going at it. That's what I'm ahead of myself here. The two backup goalies start to fight. So that's Malarchuk and Sevigny. Sorry. I got 4 pages. I'm going to put that one down because it's done now. And at one point, Bob Cole said there were 14 fights out on the ice. 14 fights going on. Players roaming from fight to fight, getting in the way, pulling players off. Guy Lafleur, I noticed this time. I don't know if I noticed it when it happened. Guy Lafleur, he was kind of standing around there skating. He wasn't getting in smart. He wasn't getting, that's not his thing. He's got to stay out of that. Schlager and Hamel, they're fighting along the boards. Just the two of them going at it. And then Mario Tremblay comes over. Somehow gets in between them a little bit. They're not swinging as much. And they're yelling at each other. And just out of nowhere, Schlager with his left just cocks Hamel. Hamel had kind of relaxed. I think he thought Tremblay's in the middle. They're not swinging at each other or whatever. And he gets caught. I guess I'll turn this way. So it's a left by Schlager, and it catches him right here in the eye, on the corner of the eye. He almost loses his eye on this. And he is out cold, on his feet, off to the left, and just falls. And I think I read somewhere, Larry Robinson was close, and he caught him, or Bob Gainey, someone caught him just before he totally fell to the ice, and I guess might have helped him having worse than what happened. But he's out cold, flat out on the ice, blood starting to spread. And, like I said, he almost lost his eye over this. He'd never play again. That was it. That was the last play he'd ever be involved in. The trainers come out and work on him. And in the next 30 seconds or so, the fight starts to sort of, everyone saw what happened or sees what's happening there. And the fight sort of flows out of everything. And, they get it under control. And they get the players off the ice. In the intermission, the refs make a very key mistake that you think now the fight is over. It's not over. The refs make a key mistake in the intermission, and they don't inform the teams of who got kicked out of the game. So the teams don't know what players are kicked out and who's got that. They don't know at this point. So the third period comes around. Both teams are back out on the ice, all the players. And this is a problem because they start announcing penalties and the ejections. But the players are out on the ice. They shouldn't have been out. They were ejected. They should not have been there. And it's a problem. In the confusion of getting it sorted out, players are milling about, having words with each other. Mark Hunter wants Louis Schlager, and he wants him bad. He really wants him bad. Mike McPhee and Wally Weir start fighting. And that's it. Off to the races again. And they're announcing the ejections from the end of the second period. So no play has gone on. Period ended. Period hasn't started. Next one yet. Right? So nothing. And they're announcing it. And as they're announcing a guy's name, he's been ejected. He goes, well, I got nothing to lose. And they start to fight. Let me get to where I am. So like I said, Wally Weir starts it off with Mike McPhee. And Mark Hunter, he's searching for Louis Schlager. He's searching for him. So Dale Hunter's out there too, and he starts going at Mario Tremblay. They start fighting. They're going at it. They're on the ground. Peter Stastny, who had been off the ice, and I don't know, he skates back, and he skates up to them. He looks down. His gloves are already off, and he sort of falls on Tremblay and wails on him, on his head. He's just punching his head. Wails. It's the only thing you see him just boom, boom, boom. That's all you see. So he's wailing on him. Let me get to that again. And then Mark Hunter, Dale Hunter gets out of that pack, right? Because Stastny's wailing on Tremblay, who was on top of him. He gets away, but before he can get up, his brother comes out of nowhere and jumps on his back, and they go at it. Apparently not the first time. They're farm boys, and growing up, I think they had more Hunter brothers than them, and they grew up fighting, and they're used to it. But they fight. And I don't know if that's the first time I've seen brothers fight in the NHL, but I think it is, and I don't think I've seen it since. So by the time they finish announcing the penalties from the brawl at the end of the second period, this fight starts to break up. Okay, and they get it sorted out. And in the end, the third starts out. They start out 3-on-3. and then they go to a 4-on-3 because of how there were penalties. Don't forget there were penalties before the brawl. That's how it works out. There's 13 players on each bench. That's what's left. Everybody else been ejected. There would only be one penalty in the third period because usually after something like this, it stops. And I'll tell you the truth, if this game had been won by the Nordiques and they go to Game 7, it would not have happened again. That's usually what happens. So once the fight was out of everybody, they played the third period. Goulet would, let's go to the board here now. So now we're in the third period. There's only been one goal so far and no scoring in the second period. Power play goal, Michel Goulet, unassisted. I don't remember, I think he stole the puck, a turnover in the slot area, and just not far to get to the net, and he gets the goal. That's at 2:02, it's 2-0. We were all dejected about that. We'll figure out, damn it. The players even a bit. So it takes a little over 4 minutes. Back and forth. Steve Shutt, Bobby Smith pass. He skates in and fires a rocket. And a goal scorer, like, you know why he was a goal scorer. He is a left shot, so like that. And he's coming in from the left side. He takes the outside. He picks the outside corner so beautifully. Goal scored like that. Dan Bouchard had no chance on it. Anyway, 2-1, and the tide turns. 3 minutes later, Steve Shutt again off a Matt Naslin setup. It's 2-2. 3 more minutes later, Rick Green off of a Bobby Smith feed, a really nice feed at the blue line, and Green just fires a rocket, a heavy shot into through Bouchard, and it's 3-2. We go up ahead. And they don't look back. 13:27, so that's a little over a minute later. John Chabot gets his first ever playoff goal from Lafleur and Naslin. Lafleur, he kind of, and a good thing because he kind of fanned on, I don't know if the puck went over his stick or he fanned on it, and he barely touched it, and it goes to Chabot, and Chabot scored, so maybe that's a good thing. But he gets the assist, Naslin too, so it's 4-2. Again, another minute later, so you can see in the period, in less than 10 minutes, and Carbo gets his third of the playoffs from Ryan Walter. It's 5-2. They would get one back with 3 minutes left. Wilf Payman from Sauvé and Alain Cote. Too little, too late. That's it. Montreal advances to take on the New York Islanders for the conference title. So they would go to the finals. They don't. The Islanders go to the finals, hoping to win their 5th cup in a row, which they don't against the Oilers. The Oilers would win. And that's it. So they advance, and that's how it works. They lost to the Islanders 6 games to 2. 4 games to 2 in 6 games. Yeah, it's a long video. I'm tired and I'm babbling now. But that's the Friday Night Massacre. It was a fantastic game to watch as a fan. It was an aggravating game to watch as a fan. It was a fantastic game as in that rivalry between the Nordiques and Montreal. And so if you're still watching, you're still here at this long video, this was awesome. Go on YouTube, type it in, watch this game. It was fantastic. I'm glad I rewatched it. Glad I did this video. If you like this video, give a thumbs up. While you're on the way down there to do that, subscribe, ring the notifications bell. That's going to get you your daily fix of Bleu, Blanc, Rouge. And before I'm out of here, I should have shown you, this is a list of the penalties. This is the list, first and second. First period, second period. Whoops. Look at all the second period. That's all the penalties. Sorry, I didn't get to that because it's a long video. And, leave any comments you may have about this game. Did you see it live? Did you see it ever? Have you ever heard of it before? Let me know in the comment section below. Please go check out this game. It's Good Friday. Why not check it out? And thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out. Have a good Friday. Be safe. Stay in. Wash your hands. Do all the things to keep yourself safe and everybody safe and healthy. Bye, y'all.